about basic workshop tools. If you are working in a workshop or wood shop, you should know what the basic tools are and how to identify them. If you do not know what basic tools are and what they can do, you have no business working in a wood shop or workshop because you might hurt yourself or someone else. Are you ready to begin? What is this thing? Have you seen one before? Do you know what it is? Hurry, answer the question now. Well, what is it? Do you give up? Do you have any idea what it is or how to use it? The correct answer is, it is a blowtorch. In the old days, you would fill it with a flammable liquid and pump the little thing on the handle and adjust the flame with the valve at the end of the nozzle, and it would throw fire and burn things. Now, what are these? They're not workshop related, but you should know what they are. They are still used today, but in a more modern form. You will notice that they have different sizes. Do you give up? Do you know what they are? These are soldering irons. In the old days, people would put them in a fire and heat them up to melt solder to make electrical and plumbing connections. They're not used in workshop very often for woodworking, but they are used by electronic enthusiasts for electrical and plumbing household work. Every handyman should know what these are. Let's see the next item and see if you know what it is. It might be a little easier. And what is this? Everyone should know what this is. If you have machinery, you use this quite often. This is an oil can. It holds oil for lubricating machinery. And you can also use it to put a coat of oil on tools in the workshop to keep them from rusting. Let's take a look at a more familiar but obsolete item. Do you know what this is? Most people would know what it is, but they don't want to use it anymore. Given that we have more modern power tools at our disposal, who on earth would want to use this anymore? But some people prefer to keep them for recalling the days of old woodworking gone by. But more modern people probably have no idea what this thing is, or would they even want to care what it is. It is a handsaw. A person would hold the handle with their hand and move their arm back and forth to cut through wooden material. There are two basic tools of this type called the rip saw and the cross-cut saw, but again, given modern technology, these are pretty much relegated to the dustbin of history. Let's take a look at another much older item. Chances are not many people alive today would know what this thing is. Only an astute antique tool collector would know what this thing is and know how to use it. It is a wall-mounted drill press. In the days gone by, a farmer or homeowner would attach it to a wall and turn the crank and drill holes in things. Yes, there's a big school of thought between drilling and boring holes, but I will use the term drill holes for any sized hole. Next item is, do you know what it is? It should be more familiar. It is still sold in retail establishments of business today. Chances are you might have one in your home. But again, given modern technology, this item too is relegated to the dustbin of history. It is a hand drill. Some people of days gone by would call it an egg beater drill because it would work very similar to an old-fashioned egg beater. Let's take a look at another mysterious item. Chances are, if you are a perfectionist woodworker, you might have an item like this in your toolkit. Some people might even have more cleaned up and restored items like this on display in their tool collection. But it is still very useful or usable if it is in working condition. This is a wood block plane. In the days gone by, you would sharpen the metal blade and put it in the box and plane wood. But with more modern electric sanders and even belt sanders of different sizes, this too is almost relegated to the dustbin of history. When you want to loosen the blade, you would tap the little knob near the front, and so you can take the blade out and sharpen it for another days of use. And do you know what these are? These are pretty much used for more precision mechanical work, but they are still useful in the wood shop when you're working with a lathe. Be careful, you should know these are for a particular purpose. These are inside calipers. You will notice the tips at the end of the tool point outward for taking inside measurements of cylinders or inside dimensions for measuring. They're useful on the lathe for taking the inside measurement to see if parts will fit together on your lathe. For example, making sure that a lid will fit on a turned item. Do you know what this is? It's not very useful in a workshop, but it is useful in the outfield when you're building a house or taking important measurements outside. Although it could be used anywhere you want, but it has a particular purpose. This is a plumb bob. Surveyors would use it on their transits to make sure their measurements are properly accurate with the benchmarks for surveying construction. Let us take a look at a more domestic item. Do you have an idea what this thing is? It is used around the home in days gone by, although it could very well be used today. This item is a rug beater. People in days gone by would take their rugs out of their home and beat them with it to shake the dust and dirt out in days before we had vacuum cleaners. And what is this? Sometimes you might see this for sale at a flea market advertised as a tool that you can use in your workshop, but you should really know what it is used for. It is another old item now relegated to the dustbin of history. This is a pair of ice tongs. In days gone by, the Iceman would use it to carry a block of ice to put in your ice box. But given modern refrigeration systems, these are no longer used, and they are in the dustbin of history. But people selling them at flea markets might try to say they are a tool you can use in your workshop for carrying materials. So be careful if you see these for sale. And older members might know what these are. Sometimes people use these for moving items from one place to another. These are a pair of old-fashioned roller skates. Given that no one uses them anymore with new rubber-wheeled roller blades or roller skates, these are relegated to the dustbin of history, but you might see them for sale as tools or rollers because no one else will want to buy them. Some people might say to drill holes in them and use them for mounting on the bottom of cabinets to move them from one place to another. Let's take a look at a more uplifting item. You might see this in a warehouse or even in your own shop if you want to move things from one place to another. This is a train hoist. In days gone by, farmers would use this to move big bales of hay up to the hayloft in their barn to get ready to feed their livestock in winter time. machine shops would also use this for moving material around the shop. It could also be used in a workshop today to move things around. This should be a familiar item. It is still sold in retail stores today. Very useful if you know what it is used for. They are not scissors, but they are tin snips or metal cutters. They are used to cut light gauge sheet metal, which is useful in a workshop for repair or replacing items. Let's take a look at a more heavier item. You might have seen this in cartoons or in old-time movies. They are not really used around homes these days, but they have a good, useful purpose if you know what it is. This is an anvil. It is using for shaping hot iron in a old blacksmith shop of days gone by. Let's take a look at another item. This is a more obscure item, but it is very useful and astute. Two collectors would know what this is. Not used very often today, but it still functions if you know how to use it and what it is for. It's something you would not believe given today's technology. It is a nail puller. The little bird beak at the end is used to hold the nail, and then you pull the handle as a lever to pull the nail out. Here is an item that is still used today by some perfection workers for old technology. You'll see that it has a saw and like a box at the side there. Tool collectors should know what this is. It's very similar to the handsaw we saw earlier. It is a miter box. You put your piece of wood in their slot, and then you use the saw to cut the piece of wood at various angles as shown on that circular piece at the bottom. Every woodworker should know what these are. You will see that they come in different sizes, but they all look the same because they all do the same thing. You will see that they have square ends at the end, signifying that they are for older tools that are not really used today except by more old-fashioned woodworkers. These are auger drill bits. Some people would say that they are for boring holes or drilling holes above or below a quarter of an inch. But as I said before, I use the word drill for making holes in any size. Everyone should know what this is. every woodworker wants one, and if you have one, you are very lucky. They are very useful for what they are made for. You will see that they have little holes at the top and handles that you turn. This is a workbench. It is used for building or working with material in a wood shop. You will see that it's made of wood, so it does not damage work in process, and it has the ability to accept projects of different sizes, and the holes are used to adjust the vices at the front and end to hold project material in place while it is being worked on. If you know what this is, you are very astute, because not many people know what this is today. Like many old-fashioned items, it is relegated to the dustbin of history. I will give you a hint, however. It is used with those drill bits we saw earlier. If that's not a hint, I don't know what is. It is a bit brace, or people call it a turn-arounder, or making holes and using those drill bits we saw earlier. Here is an important item for layout and design work, although more people would use it for working with maps for navigation on a boat or aircraft. But it is useful in the wood shop or workshop for transferring measurements or dimensions. It is a parallel rule. When you move the parts up and down, they stay parallel to each other, allowing for measurements and dimensions to stay parallel, which is useful for various layout and design project work in the workshop. Don't miss the next workshop or woodshop tool quiz. Please come again. If you like what you see, make sure to like and subscribe and share your comments and observations in the comments below. Your comments will help us provide you with more useful content. Don't fail to like and subscribe, and please come again soon. And when you're working in the workshop, don't forget to follow basic tool safety procedures to keep yourself out of the hospital emergency room. Thank you. Goodbye.